Hi, my name's Brad Phillips. I'm here with Puppy Steps Training. Today we're going to be doing a training demonstration for you. So we're going to walk you through the program. We're going to show you everything that your puppy has learned. We're also going to teach you how to continue with the training. Now, before we get to the more demonstrating part of the program, we're first going to talk about some really important information that's going to help you have a lifetime of success with your puppy. So, your puppy is doing fantastic. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sending him home. Like I've told you before, I train to a standard, not a strict time frame. So, your puppy has reached our standard. We have very high expectations, and it's going to be important for you that as you bring them home, that you have the same expectations. Dogs are really, really neat, that they will live up to our expectations, whether we set them high or whether we set them low. And if one person in the family sets them low and everybody else is high, they're going to continue to try and test waters and see what they can get away with. So we want to make sure that the whole family is on the same page. And that's also why these demonstrations are so important, so that we can set the bar before our puppy ever enters into our home. Now, it's important to remember, your puppy is a puppy. And so they're going to have energy and they're going to make mistakes. Just because they went through our training program does not make them a perfect dog. I always like to joke with people, if you were expecting perfection, you might want to run over to Walmart and grab you a stuffed animal. And even there, you're probably going to find a flaw. So it's important to understand that our puppy is going to make mistakes. But it's also important to understand how to deal with those mistakes as they arise. Because failure or making mistakes is a very important part of learning. And so we have what we call our 3 keys to success. Now these are how we try and keep mistakes at a minimum and make sure they don't become bad habits. They're also how we continue with the training and make sure that we have success in our home. So those 3 keys are consistency, follow through, and management. You have to have all 3. These 3 things teach our puppy that we are the leader, that we're going to take care of them, that they don't have to worry, and that their needs are going to be met. Now, so we're going to start with consistency. We've taught them a certain way, and so it's important to try and be consistent along the same lines. Now, if you say things a little bit differently, as long as you're consistent with that, your puppy will understand, but it may take them a few days. And that's why we talk about the transition period. And so for the next 2 to 4 weeks, your puppy is going to be transitioning. During this transition period, they're trying to learn what the expectations are. They're trying to learn the way that you give commands. They're going to learn what they're allowed to get away with and what they're not. And especially over the next 3 days, your puppy is going to be confused. And so they're going to probably test more boundaries, just trying to see whether that consistency, that follow through, that management, they're going to try and see whether those are there. Now, also during this transition period, they're going to be undergoing a period of stress. They're leaving a familiar environment, now being thrown into an unfamiliar environment. So they may lose their appetite. They may get what we call the puppy blues, where they're not as active as they usually are. Maybe they seem a little bit sad. They also may act out once again and see what they can get away with. So it's important that we are patient with them. I want to try and really focus on building a relationship with my puppy during these first 3 days versus trying to build these commands up back to where we have them right now. Because with the stress, there's also going to be just a little bit of regression. Now, regression doesn't mean that they're going to pee in the house or that they're not going to do commands for you. It just means, once again, that they're going to be under stress, and so we're going to take that into an account, and we're going to lower our expectations just a little bit. Now, I'm always going to enforce manners. It doesn't matter whether they're stressed or not. They're not allowed to bite me. They're not allowed to jump up. They're not allowed to break through doorways. So we're going to expect the manners, and we're going to show you all of these here in a few minutes. But the commands, I'm going to keep to a minimum. Now, during this demonstration, we're going to show you some amazing stays, the place command, and they're doing awesome. But we're going to take that down. We're not going to expect them to hold a 5-minute stay on their place within the first 3 days. Instead, I'll still do these commands, but I'm going to keep them really light. I'm going to keep them fun, and I'm going to make sure that I'm helping my puppy succeed. I always want to train to success, not to failure. I never want to play guess what's in my head. I want to make sure that they have all the answers to the test. So now let's just break down those 3 keys. So the first one, consistency. We are a balanced dog training program, and so we have markers for both reinforcement and correction. And you're going to want to use these same markers. They give a clear understanding of whether your puppy is doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Like I said, we want to give them lots of information, lots of feedback. So our positive markers, we have the word good and the word okay. So good is a marker that means keep going. It's an intermediary marker. So if I put them on a place, I'm going to tell them place. I'm going to say like good girl or good boy, and I'm going to enforce that you're doing the right thing. However, you are not done. Now, when they are finished with that command, when I'm releasing them from that stay, then I'll use the word okay. So okay marks the correct behavior. It tells them that they're released from a stay and that they've done the right thing. And so it's really important to use these markers to give them that information. Once again, I'll tell them good. So that's good job, keep going. Okay, you're finished, you're able to get off, you're able to maybe venture out a little bit, give them a little bit of freedom. Okay just means that you're done with that behavior at that time. Now, we also are giving them rewards during this time. So your puppy right now is very food motivated. That is their currency. Just as you would not go to work if you did not receive a paycheck, your puppy is not going to work for you unless they're being rewarded or they're paid out. Now, eventually, as they get a little bit older, we can wean those rewards off. There's also times where I don't want to use a food reward. But right now, and especially during this transition period, we want to use a high value reward. And so I'll give them a little piece of treat. I might give them some ham or hot dogs or maybe a little bit of cheese, something high value, just to really drive this point home that I'm going to reward you and that I have the same expectations and that this is very positive for working for me. Now, there are going to be times where you don't have food on you, and that's where I'll use praise and affection. And of course, I mix that in with everything. I want to praise my dog. I want to show them affection and really show them that they're doing the right thing. Now, if I'm using a toy as a reward, which a toy is a good form of a reward, that's when I do not want to have treats on me. I want them to be focused on that toy. Because the moment that I pull out a treat, then they're going to forget about the toy and they're going to want to work for food. And I want them to have a good toy drive because that's a really important way to mentally stimulate your dog as well as meet their physical needs so that we can give them exercise. So those are our three primary forms of rewards. That's food, praise and affection, and toys. So use all three, but really keep it heavy on simple treats right now. Really drive this point home. Now, when we talk about a correction, so that's our second part of consistency. Like I said, you have to have both. I do not believe that you need to physically dominate your dog. I want our relationship to be built out of respect for me as the leader. And so I give them, once again, a lot of feedback, but my correction a lot of times is just no, and that's all it is. Dogs read our voice fluctuation and our body language very, very well. And so me changing my voice and just giving them a sharp no is all the correction I need. Now, once your dog fixes their mistake, then I'm not going to carry on this correction for a long period of time because your dog's not going to understand. They're just going to think that you're mad at them. And so the correction needs to be quick, it needs to be timely, and then we're done. So like I said, no is kind of that primary correction. Sometimes it's whatever comes out of my mouth, depending on the severity or depending on the action. Now, to kind of give you an example, once again, if I'm working with them and I put them in a stay and they break, it happens all the time because once again, we learn a lot through failure. Now, if they break a stay, I'm not going to get mad. It's not that big a deal. We're working, we're training and learning. And so I'll just simply, no, and then I'll have them do it again. I will always end on a correct behavior. I am never going to end on a failure. And if I have to break a behavior down to make sure that we get that correct repetition, I will. Now, if they do something a little bit more serious, maybe they jump up on me, which is one of my biggest pet peeves, then I'm going to give them a little bit more of a sharp correction. So it would be, no, off. My voice gets a little deeper. A lot of times I kind of puff out my chest and I'm changing my body language. Once again, that's enough of a correction. And then let's say they do something a little bit more serious, like they start to pee in the house. That's when I get frantic. And so my correction might look like, no, 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 no. And I'm just trying to get them to stop. And then I'm going to quickly take them outside. And just as important as that correction is following through and making sure I teach them what the expected behavior is, which I'll get to in just 1 minute. The last part of a correction I want to talk about is a physical correction. Now, once again, I don't believe you need to physically dominate your dog, but there is power, once again, in telling your dog no, and I will accompany that with a leash pop, which is just pop, pop. I'm not trying to yank them around. It's not to inflict any harm. The purpose of that is to regain their attention to then change their behavior. Now, once again, I don't want to injure my dog. I don't want to yank them around. It is not to inflict harm at all. It is simply to regain composure. So that's consistency. You need to consistently reward. You need to consistently correct. You have to have both. Whatever you reinforce will get replicated. And so if you are not consistent and the only time you give your dog feedback is when they're doing something wrong, guess what? They're probably not going to respect you, and instead it's going to be more of a fear-based relationship, which is what we don't want. So even if my puppy is just laying at my feet chewing on something they're supposed to, I might simply just bend down, pet them a little bit, tell them they're being a good boy. We want to give them that feedback, and especially as you're working with them, as you start to implement the commands and the leash work, give them that feedback. It is going to build your relationship more than anything you can do. So be consistent. Once again, anytime I give my dog a correction, I want to then follow through and help them understand what the correct behavior is. So that's where key number 2 comes in. So key number 2, follow through. Like I said, anytime that I correct my dog, I want to then teach them what the expected behavior is. So I'm always going to follow through. Whether I ask them to do a command and they are confused or maybe they ignore me, or whether they're doing something they're not supposed to and we catch them in the act. The follow through is a little bit different on each one. So first off, let's talk about maybe you're sitting there and you see your puppy go over and start to try and chew on a baseboard or chew on something they're not supposed to. This is where we use a concept that we call marking and redirecting. So if I saw them start chewing on something they weren't supposed to, I'm going to immediately correct them. So that correction is no. Now, once I correct them, they look at me, I'm going to redirect them into an appropriate behavior. So even if they don't look at me, I'm then going to remove them from that situation. So we'll use the example of chewing on a baseboard. I'll tell them no. Now I'm going to take them over to maybe their bed and I'll give them something to chew on. And so marking the incorrect behavior, redirecting into an appropriate behavior. Now during this puppy stage, puppies need to chew. And so my redirection, I'm going to try and match texture. They were chewing on a baseboard, maybe I'll give them a bully stick or a marrow bone, something hard that they can really get into. If they want to chew on maybe one of your pillows or a soft bed, give them a plush toy. They're chewing on their leash, give them a rope. Try and match those needs, match consistency. So you can do that with a lot of different behaviors. Even jumping is another one. A lot of times if your puppy's jumping, I'll correct them for jumping and then I'll redirect them into an appropriate behavior like a sit. So we teach them, if they want our attention, they've got to do this behavior. This is a good behavior versus the bad behavior. Now let's talk about follow through if they ignore you or maybe don't understand. So let's use the example of jumping on the couch. Let's say we're in the kitchen, we're cooking, we look over and Marley is jumping up on the couch. So I would immediately say, Marley, off, giving her a command. If she gets down and listens to that, then I'm going to reward her. So I'm going to reinforce the behavior that she just performed. If she got down, maybe came over to me, I'm going to pet her. I'm going to tell her she's a good girl because she fixed her mistake. And so the correction is done. She did the right behavior after she was asked. That's all that needs to happen. Now, if she didn't, if she had her paws up there and she looked over her shoulder like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? You're over there. I will not repeat the command. The worst thing you can do is sit there and go, Marley, off, get down, get off the couch. Because you're just giving her a whole spiel of what she doesn't understand. If she doesn't do the behavior when asked, I am not going to repeat the command. I will correct her. So if I said, Marley, off, and she didn't get down, I am then going to say no, and now I'm going to start to approach her. I'm going to walk across the room. Even if I am comfortable wrapped up in a blanket, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go and remove her. Now, if she fixed her mistake with that prompt, if I said no and I started to motion towards her and she got down, I'm going to reward that behavior. I'll call her over, have her sit, praise her, make sure that she understands that, yes, that's exactly what I want. That's a good girl. Now, if she still ignored you and kept trying to get up onto the couch, or maybe succeeded and now is trying to get comfortable, I am going to walk all the way over to her, and at that point I will repeat the correction. I will not repeat the command. I will tell her no again, and now I'm going to remove her and I am going to redirect her into an appropriate activity. Whether that's you're going to come over by me, you're going to lay on the floor, you're going to chew on a toy, or maybe it's, okay, I can't watch you very well right now, you're just going to go take a little break in the crate. Now I'm not going to be super mad and shove her in the crate and make it a big deal, because then you're going to destroy the crate. Instead, the correction has already happened. Now I'm redirecting her into something appropriate to do. And so the correction is done. I do not need to carry on this frustration or this anger after the correction has happened. But I am always going to give them that correction, and I am always going to follow through. Now, let's just say that I gave your puppy a command, and so I put them in. Sorry, let me take that back. Let's just say that I asked them for a sit. So I said sit, gave them a hand signal, and they looked at me like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never seen this command before. Now, instead of getting frustrated and repeating myself, I'm going to maybe adjust my body language. The worst thing you can do is go sit, sit, no sit, sit, because they're not going to understand at that point. Dogs don't speak English. They understand the sound of our voice making that sound of sit. And so they know that it's one time. So sit is the command, not sit, 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 sit. So one time, ask them once. Now, once again, if they look up at me like, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm going to give them a few seconds to think about it. Dogs are not robots. They have to process things. And at the same time, while I'm allowing them to process, maybe I'll adjust my body language. So maybe I'll kind of lean forward or make the hand gesture. But I'm going to help them succeed. Now then, if they blatantly ignored me and just tried to walk off, that is when I will correct them. I will say, no, now I'm going to reset. So I'm going to bring them back to the same area and ask them again. But I will only repeat the command if they completely walk away. If they are focused on me, just trying to understand what I am asking, I will not repeat the command, but I will adjust my body language to help them succeed. If they ignore me or they run off, then I will implement a correction and reset to where I will repeat the command. So hopefully that makes sense. If you do have any questions on any of this, please let me know. But follow through is super important. The moment that you don't follow through, the moment you call your dog to come and they run the other direction and you say, I'll get them later, is the moment that your dog loses respect for you and are going to try and push more and more buttons or try and push more and more boundaries. So it is so important that you follow through and help your dog succeed. Give them necessary feedback and information. So that was key number 2. We've got consistency, number 1, follow through, number 2, and now number 3, which is management. Management is going to be the most important thing you do throughout this transition period. When we manage our dog, we maintain control and we provide an environment where they don't even have the opportunity to create bad habits. Good management when bringing a puppy home is 100% supervision. 100% supervision is active eyes on them at all times. That's not, well, I saw them a few minutes ago. You have to know what they're doing at all times, what they have in their mouth, what they're getting into, where they're laying down, all of it. 100% supervision. Now, there are some good management tools to help you along the way. The crate is your best management tool. You know that if they're in the crate, they're not chewing something up, they're not destroying a family heirloom, and they're not peeing. So use the crate to your advantage. Anytime you cannot give them 100% supervision, use the crate as management. Use a leash. I let my puppies drag around just a really lightweight 4-foot leash for the first few weeks that they're in my house. That way I have a quick way to grab them if needs be, or to take them outside. I will also keep them on a long lead until I've built a relationship to where I know that they are going to follow through and they are going to come back when called. So that once again, this way, they do not have an opportunity to run off and not listen to me. They don't have an opportunity to create a bad habit. Now, as we go throughout the manners, we're going to talk about how to manage those each individually because they're all managed a little bit differently. But the key points to remember is 100% supervision. That is the most important thing you are going to do over this transition period. Know where your dog is at all times. And once again, that's not, oh, I knew where they were 2 minutes ago. It's, I know where they are now, I know what they're chewing on. Because if you walk around the corner and your dog has had an accident and you don't see it, there's nothing you can do. And so by good management, you provide the opportunity to develop a relationship as well as to create a set of expectations that your dog understands and that are going to set you up for success. So recap, the 3 keys: be consistent, both rewarding and correcting. Lots of feedback is important. Whatever you reinforce will get replicated. If you ask them to do something, follow through. Do not allow your dog to get away with ignoring you or ending on an incorrect behavior. Always train to success, not to failure. And make sure that you follow through. If you ask them to do it, help them succeed. And the last one, management. Manage your dog, 100% supervision. You know what they are getting into at all times. You know where they are. That is going to set you up for success. So now we're going to switch gears and we're going to pull out your puppy and we're going to walk through all of the training with you. As you watch this video, please write down questions and then give me a phone call or an email. We want to help you succeed. We want to make sure that this transition is as smooth as possible. And that is, once again, the purpose of this video is to help you. And so if you have any questions, please let us know. But we're very happy with where your puppy's at and excited to show off this training. This next video, we're going to be talking about our expectations with crate training and house training. Now, with the crate, I expect that your puppy is sleeping through the night, 8 hours, no problem, and up to 4 hours during the day. Now, in the evening time, the biggest part of crate training is setting a routine. So here at Puppy Steps Training, we're putting them to bed at 10 p.m. and getting them up at 6 a.m. So a good solid 8 hours. Now, they can go longer than that as they get a little bit older, but as you bring them home, don't expect to push that right away. If you are going to adjust that schedule, do it incrementally and go slow. Just know that at about 5:50, 6 o'clock, they're going to start getting restless because they're used to getting up at that time. Now, another big part of sleeping through the night is that mealtime routine. So we feed them at 6 p.m. and usually right around 6 a.m. The morning time, that a.m. meal, isn't super important that you stick to that schedule. You can honestly get them up and feed them when you're ready. However, the evening time meal, we do want to feed them by 6 p.m., no later than that, because I do want a good 4 hours for them to clear everything that's in their system so that they can sleep through the night. Now, we also limit water for the first couple weeks because they're stressed out. When a puppy's stressed out, they drink a lot more and they have to go to the bathroom a lot more. So we want to just, take away some of the fuel for that fire. I still want to make sure that they have plenty of access to water. I just don't want unlimited access. So anytime that they're spending a lot of time outside, I do want to make sure they have access to water. I also want to make sure that they have water when they're eating, and then I'll give it to them, several times throughout the day. But as soon as I feel like they're done or they've had enough, we're going to take it away. Because what I don't want to do is them drink so much that then they're distended. So I don't want them feeling like a panic that they need to drink because it's going to get taken away, but I also don't want them to think that they can just engorge themselves. So hopefully that makes sense, but that routine is a big part of sleeping through the night. Now, they shouldn't be having accidents and they shouldn't be making noise in the crate. So if they do make some noise in the crate, for the first couple minutes, we're going to ignore that. We're going to let them just settle down, especially in the first day or two as they get home. They are going to be under some stress, and so you're their source of comfort. But I don't want them thinking that if they throw a big fit, that you're going to let them out. So for the first 5 minutes, just let them kind of cry it out. Then the first thing that I'll go to is just draping a blanket over the crate. By doing that, we're making sure that they can't see outside, and they're a lot like parrots. If they can't see what's going on, they're going to settle down easier. We've also taught them a hush command. If they do, just continue carrying on. And so if I need to give them that command, it'll be no, hush. And so it's a little bit louder. Obviously, you're implementing a correction, and they should quiet down. Now, if they just carry on like they didn't even hear that, then I might accompany with a little tap on top. So I'm not banging on the crate, but it will just be, no, hush. And it's just to break them of their reverie. I don't want to, kick the crate across the room or cause like any type of fearfulness, but it's just like, hey, knock it off. So that's our correction there. Now, the biggest mistake that you can make with crate training is letting them out if they are crying. Because as soon as you do that, they figure out like, oh, if I throw a fit, they're gonna let me out. So absolutely no positive attention if they're crying in the crate. The second worst thing that you can do is come over and go, oh, it's okay, I'll let you out in a minute, and stick your fingers in the crate. Because same thing, you're giving them positive attention for throwing a fit. So it is no positive attention if they're crying in the crate. If they are making noise and you are about to let them out, still expect some silence. So I'll tell them hush, and I want them to give me like 10 seconds of silence. If you think, oh my goodness, they're gonna have an accident, they need to go to the bathroom, then I might expect still some silence, but it might be more like 3 seconds. So I'd say hush, okay, now let's go, and we'll get them outside. So that's our evening stuff. During the day, they should also be able to be in their crate comfortably without making noise, without having accidents. Like I said, we build that up to 4 hours at a time. You can put them in the crate more than that. I just don't do longer than a 4-hour block at this point. I utilize the crate very heavily while we're transitioning and while we're working on potty training. So don't be afraid to put them in the crate. It is honestly your best friend. They can be inside the crate for as little as a minute, all the way up to that 4 hours. So anytime you can't give them that 100% supervision, utilize the crate. Now we also want to use the crate both when we're home as well as when we leave. If we only put our puppy in the crate when we're leaving, you're going to build some separation anxiety. They're going to associate the crate with you leaving, and it's going to cause even more panic, even more noise. So utilize the crate when you're home, when you're in the same room as them, as well as when you leave. Now, the other thing is, don't make it obvious that you're leaving all the time. If you make a big deal out of putting them in the crate when you are leaving, same thing, you're going to build some separation anxiety. And it's the same concept when you come home. If you come in the door and you immediately rush over to your dog and, oh, I missed you, you're going to build a charge and they're going to go crazy in the crate. So we want to make sure that that's kind of nonchalant. I'll get to you in a second. Sometimes I'll let you out immediately. Sometimes I'll go to the bathroom or go get a drink. And that way we don't build that charge, but it should be a very calm experience being in the crate. So with that, now I want to talk about our expectations with house training. So your puppy, if they're going home, obviously is doing very, very well with house training. My expectations are that they can be inside the house for 2 hours without needing a break, without having accidents. Now they've been doing that here, but we're going to drop or lower our expectations for the first couple weeks to make sure that we train to success. Now that's not saying that I expect a bunch of regression and you're going to have accidents. It's just saying that I'm going to set them up for success. We always train to success, and I want to make sure that I don't give them the opportunity to fail. So we're going to give you a very strict schedule for the first 2 weeks, and if you'll just follow that, you're not going to give them, once again, that opportunity for accidents. Now, before I go into that schedule, just a couple things that I want to talk about. One is, obviously, there's going to be some hills and valleys with the house training, but we always want them in this forward progression. So once again, we're going to set them up for success. So that's a big part of the schedule, is giving them lots of opportunities to go to the bathroom. And honestly, during these first 2 weeks, paranoia is going to be your best friend. If you even think that they're going to have an accident, or they're like, maybe they need to go to the bathroom, just take them outside. I would much rather take them out 10 times than clean up one accident. You're also going to look for a lot of indicators that they need to go. Once again, 100% supervision is the most important thing you're going to do during this transition. So if you're watching them and you notice that they get up and try and walk away from you, that's an indicator that they may need to go. If they start sniffing really heavily, panting, pacing around, just take them outside. Once again, if your gut says maybe they need to go, just take them out. Now, if they get up and they start spinning little circles, just take them outside. Nobody likes what happens next. Okay? So those are the indicators that we're looking for. If they have an accident, there's kind of 2 scenarios we look for. One, if they have it away from you and you don't see it, but you stumble across it later, whether it's 2 minutes, whether it's an hour, there is nothing you can do about that. That means that you weren't giving them enough attention, you weren't paying attention to them, and so that's a slap on the wrist. We need to do better as the owner. If you can't give them that supervision, put them in the crate. So scenario number 2 is they start peeing right in front of us. If they're gonna have an accident, that's what I want, because it provides a very valuable opportunity to teach them what I expect. So I'm gonna correct them right there. So it's no, 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 and I'm gonna grab them and run them outside. Now, once I get outside, I'm gonna change my attitude, and I'm gonna bury that frustration deep down, and I'm gonna give them the opportunity to finish. If they finish going to the bathroom outside, I am then going to praise and reward that behavior. That way I create a very black and white experience. It's absolutely not, you do not pee here. Yes, that's where I want you to go. Good dog, good girl, good boy, right? The worst thing you can do is they start peeing in front of you and you just kick them outside and then go and clean it up. Because now they just peed, they got corrected, but then they gotta go outside and play. So it's so important that we go with them and we make sure that they have a job to do when they're going to the bathroom outside. Okay, so now our routine. So once again, it's, I consider it a minor inconvenience for the next 2 weeks for a lifetime of good house training. We did this at the very beginning, but once again, we're gonna take them back down just to make sure we train to success. So here it is. First 24 hours, we are gonna take them over to the bell, they're gonna ring it, and we're gonna go to the bathroom every 30 minutes. They get a treat when they ring the bell and when they go to the bathroom. Okay, so first 24 hours, every 30 minutes. The exception to all of this is if they're in the crate, you don't need to pull them out every 30 minutes, or if they're just passed out asleep, I'm just gonna watch them and I'm gonna wait till they wake up. Okay, so day one, first 24 hours, every 30 minutes. Day two, I'm going to 45 minutes. Same thing, they're gonna ring the bell, we're gonna take them outside, they get a treat for ringing the bell, they get a treat for going to the bathroom. If they don't go to the bathroom, we just come right back in. It's a very neutral experience. Also, these first 2 days, because we are taking them out so often, I'm only gonna give them a minute outside. It's gonna be quick, we have a job to do, we're coming back inside. Now, if they haven't went for a couple hours and you're getting nervous, put them in the crate for 20 minutes and then do it again, okay? Don't just give them free access to your house, especially if they haven't went to the bathroom for a little bit. Okay, so now day three. At day three, we're moving to an hour. So every hour, we're gonna take them to the bells, give them an opportunity to go to the bathroom. But now we're changing things. They are no longer gonna get a treat when they ring the bell. It is only if they go to the bathroom, okay? Where we're taking them out every hour, I'm also gonna bump the time to being, I will give them 3 minutes outside, but no more than that. That's all they need, 3 minutes, we come back in. So for the next few days, so from days 3 to 8, I am staying at 1 hour. I am not gonna surpass that. Every hour, we're going to the bells, we're giving them an opportunity to go to the bathroom. Okay, so that's the first week. Week number 2, all depends on how they did during week number 1. If they've done phenomenal, you haven't even thought about having an accident or didn't have a close call, we're gonna progress to 2 hours. So for me, I still go every 15 minutes and work up. But the exception is, if I get up to an hour and a half and we have a close call, then maybe I'll drop them back down. So I am more than willing to take away some of that freedom. I'm very, very slow to give it, very quick to take it away. But same thing, I'm only gonna give them 3 minutes outside. They have the opportunity to go to the bathroom, we come right back in. You do not need to give them any more than 3 minutes outside. Otherwise, they're gonna get distracted, they're gonna stall, and they're not focused on what the job is, okay? So that's the first 2 weeks. We're gonna work up to 2 hours. From 2 weeks to a month, we are not surpassing 2 hours. Once again, be slow to give them that freedom, be quick to take it away. If you can follow this schedule, I promise you're gonna have success, because one, we're beating them to the punch. This is not about them having to go to the bathroom that frequently. It is all about establishing a pattern, establishing a routine. This is where the bells are, this is where we're gonna go to the bathroom. My expectations are for you to go in this certain place. Now, it's also important that you take them outside on a leash. That's gonna help them focus on what they're doing. It can be a long lead, but I don't wanna just give them free access to run and play, okay? So that's our routine. Now I'm gonna switch the camera angle and I'm gonna show you how we target the bells. Come here, good boy. All right, so now we're gonna talk about targeting the bells. So the first thing you're gonna do when you get home is you're gonna pull your bells out of your bag and we're gonna go through this exercise. The first part of this exercise we do off the door. You're only gonna do this one time, but I'm gonna hang the bells in front of Bodhi here and I'm gonna reward him for touching them. I'm gonna do this 4 or 5 times before I move to the door. Okay, once we do this and we move to the door, Then I'm going to do a similar exercise where I'm going to lean up against the doorway and I'm going to stare at the bells. Every time he touches them, I'm going to say, okay, outside. I'll do that 3 or 4 times before taking him out. So we're just going to do those 2 parts one time. When I take him outside, I'm going to give him 1 to 3 minutes, depending on where we're at, to go to the bathroom, periodically saying the word outside. Now when he goes, I'm going to say, okay, good, outside. I'm going to make it very rewarding. I'm going to give him a treat. I'm going to praise him because I really want to reinforce that behavior. If he doesn't go, we just come back inside. It's a neutral experience. We start over, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate that. So I'm just going to hang the bells. I'm going to stare at him, and stare at the bells. Every time he touches them, I'm going to say, okay. Okay, good boy. Do this 4 or 5 times. Okay, good boy. Okay, good boy. You can see that he quickly learns that this is a good little treat dispenser. Okay, good boy. So we're just making it fun. He's done that a handful of times. Now we're going to go to the door. Also, a little tip for you. I like to drop the leash and step on it. Okay, outside. That way I can keep control of him and I have both hands free. Okay, outside. Good boy. Okay, outside. Good boy. So I'm going to have him do it 1 more time and then we're going to go outside. Okay, outside. Good boy. And once again, I'm going to walk him around on leash, periodically saying outside. Okay. You also notice he's expected to wait at the doorway. Okay, good boy. Now, after you do that little exercise, from here on out, when you target the bells, it's just going to be walking him over, staring at the bells. Once he rings it, okay, outside, and then we go outside, okay? And remember, for the first 2 days, I'm giving him a treat for ringing the bells. After that, no more treats. I also want to mention, don't be surprised if for the first 2 weeks, he doesn't go and ring the bells on his own. He may, but then again, we're going to be beating him to the punch so many times that he may not need to go. So we're going to beat him to the bells. So don't be worried about that. The other thing that I want to mention is just if he rings the bells, we have to go outside to the bathroom. There is no play. There is no, you just barely went out, so I'm going to ignore you. You have to take him out. If he keeps hitting the bells one right after another, then redirect him into something else to do. If you were headed outside to go for a walk or to go and play and he rings the bells, we're going to have to go, okay, outside. We're going to go to the bathroom, and then we're going to come back in, wait 10 to 20 seconds, and then we'll go outside. So if you're going outside to play or a walk, make sure you forego the bells. So that's our expectations with crate training and house training. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We want to make sure this transitions over smooth, but this is definitely, as far as the house training goes, this is definitely the part of the program that requires the most effort because it is those 2 weeks of constantly having to take him out. And then every dog house trains differently. So it may go longer than that till you feel confident and comfortable, but don't give him too much freedom until you trust him and you have that relationship. So.
Hello, I'm Skylar. I'm the head trainer here at Puppy Steps Training, and I'm going to be showing you everything that Reggie has learned over the last several weeks with us. We're going to start with his manners. The first one are his doorways. So Reggie's expected to wait at every closed door. So every door you open for Reggie, we expect that he pauses and he waits for the okay to go on through, okay? We don't care who goes through first. He doesn't have to sit. I don't tell him stay, wait, pause. The expectation is that I open a door, he shows me he's in control, and then he can go on through. So this applies to all the doors in your home and his crate door. So if Reggie breaks any of these thresholds, I'm just going to simply tell him no, close the crate door, close the door, and we just try again until he's showing me he's in control. If he somehow slips past you, it's really important to tell him no, go get him, and have him do that doorway again. He can't learn if I'm sneaky enough, if I'm fast enough, I can get away with it. So this manner and all the manners, all the commands, feel free to change these. for your own home. So if you say, you know what, I don't want to do every single doorway with Reggie, that is just fine. Just make sure whatever rule you decide upon, maybe it's just the crate door, maybe it's the front door, just make sure everyone is very consistent with that rule. Okay, so with that manner under wraps, I'm going to let Reggie out. Okay, good boy. Hi, Reggie. Hey. Okay. Oh, good boy, good boy. So Reggie is showing me his sit to greet, so I'm going to talk about that now. So the sit to greet is how I expect Reggie to greet me. He doesn't have to sit every single time that I greet him, he greets me, or I want to pet him, he needs attention. I just expect this behavior shows up, good boy, quite often, and especially if I've been away from him for a while. So the first 3 days you have Reggie. You are going to practice the sit to greet exercise I'm about to show you. Do it with him several times a day for the first 3 days. For those 3 days, he gets a treat every time he sits for your attention. After that, he just gets your attention. Okay? So the way we do this is we have the leash. Hi, buddy. We have our treats. We're going to say his name and then walk backwards just so he follows us. And then we'll stop walking. As soon as his butt sits down, I'll say, okay, and I'll give him a treat. Reggie. Okay. Reggie. Okay. Reggie. Okay. Good. Good boy. Good boy. All right, just like that. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, the sit to greet is our replacement behavior for jumping. So instead of jumping to get my attention, Reggie sits to get it. So this manner goes hand in hand with our off. So whenever Reggie jumps up on me, I tell him off. If he jumps up, which includes paws, we include paws in jumping up. So if I'm petting him like this and he puts a paw up on me, I consider that jumping and I'll correct him. So I will say off, I will scoot him away. I'll have my palms under his chest and I'll scoot him away. I'll say off and I'll reset the situation by having my hands up in the air and I'll wait until he's being a very good boy, which he's being very good right now. And then I'll say, okay, good boy, good boy. We just want to make sure that Reggie can see that very clear body language from us where jumping is not okay. Let's reset. You are showing me the correct behavior, so now I'm going to give you attention. If I am, yeah, you are good. I will tell you 100%, I'm going to be very distracted by your puppy while filming this demo. He is very cute and I love him very much. So while we're standing and Reggie wants to jump up, I will bring my knee up and I will say off. Now Reggie, he doesn't need a firm correction. I don't want to hurt him. That is never my intention. I don't want to punt him across the room. All I am doing when I am correcting him for jumping up on me is saying, hey, I do not like that behavior, okay? So it is just a way to get him off of me. When he shows me that he is no longer jumping, he's being a very good boy, then I'll go right back to giving him attention. But anytime he wants to jump up and have ill manners, I'm going to tell him off and reset the situation. Anytime he starts jumping, your attention, your positive reinforcement of giving him that attention, those pets, goes away. Okay? Good boy. You're being so good. You're being so good. Okay, we will also use off anytime Reggie puts his paws up anywhere. So a crate, furniture, if he jumps up anywhere he's not supposed to, we will say off. Usually I'll accompany that with 2 claps. Good boy. And when he gets off, I'll say good and redirect him into an appropriate behavior. Okay, buddy. So So while I'm crouched down here, we're just going to talk about his handling. Okay, another one of our manners. So Reggie has spent a lot of time working on his handling and grooming skills. So handling was something that Reggie was not too certain about when he first got here. So we had to put a lot of time and effort and love into working on him being handled, specifically him being carried around, being brushed. But now, he's gotten quite good at it. We just want to make sure that he is continuously rewarded for his good boy efforts. So whenever I am handling Reggie, whenever I'm grooming him, I want to make sure that he is calm and he is rewarded. So for instance, if I'm cleaning out his ears and I'm moving all around and I'm putting that cleanser in there, massaging his ear, good boy, I'll give him a little treat for that. Good. Anytime that I am clipping his nails, I wanted a nice, calm, happy, rewarding experience. If anyone is holding him, and you can tell that he's just a bit unsure, I want to adjust him, make sure he's comfortable, make sure he's safe, and then reward him for being in that kind of situation. Good boy. So he's gotten really good at being handled and moved around. Just make sure to go at his pace, and we're also not going to reward temper tantrums. So if he starts squirming, I'm not going to let go. I'm going to pause what I'm doing. So for instance, if I'm clipping his nails and he starts trying to move his paw away from me, I will stop clipping because I don't want to hurt him, but I'm not going to let go of his paw. I'm just going to gently hold it until he stops pulling. I'll give him a treat and say, good boy for being nice and calm, and then we'll go back to clipping. I want it to be a positive, happy experience for him. And I want him, good job. I want him to be rewarded for his efforts. Good. So I can hold his muzzle, which actually I'm looking. Let me back up a little bit so you can see him a little more. Hi. Okay, I can. Let me scoot you around. There we go. I can look at his teeth. He has lost his front teeth. But he's still working on everything else, so you do have a little bit more to go in that area. So I can handle his teeth. I can open his mouth. Good boy. Handle his ears. Lift up his paws. I can brush him out. Good. All with him being a very good Reginald. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, that is handling. We're going to discuss gently next. So gently applies to two things. So one, whenever I give him a treat, all four paws on the ground. If he rears up, I'm going to say no gently, and I'm going to reset the situation by either taking just my hand away or taking my entire torso away. The other aspect of gently is the teeth. Whenever I give Reggie a treat, I expect no piranha teeth. If I feel that scrape, I'm going to say no gently, take that treat away, and I'm going to have that treat enclosed within my palm, and I don't open it until the teeth are gone. Good, good. Now, when Reggie first came to us, he definitely had a harder mouth. He took treats with a lot of gusto, with a lot of excitement. So this is a manner that we've really had to work on with Reggie, and it's something that you may have to remind him on every once in a while. Just make sure if he takes treats too excitedly, a bit too roughly, tell him so. Say no gently and make sure you get that good success in. But now he is very conscious, very polite, a very well-mannered gentleman that I can give him a treat like this between my thumb and my middle finger, gently. And he's very nice. He's very nice about taking it. Okay. Do you want to eat some food? Should we show them your sit stay for your food? Okay. Reggie does an automatic sit stay for all of his meals. So what we do, I have all the kibble in the bowl. I go shake, shake, shake. He sits. He's already sitting. We'll give him that one. I'll take a couple steps back and I'll lower the food bowl down. If at any point Reggie pops up, I'm just going to say no, and I pick that food bowl right back up. If he's still standing or jumping or being ill-mannered, I may change my body language by taking a step into him and showing that scoop again. Okay. Good boy. Yeah. You want the treats? Not really feeling the kibble right now? All right, that's fair. Okay, so if at any point while you're feeding Reggie, if he walks away, I'm going to pick that food bowl back up. He doesn't get fed until his next meal. We don't free feed puppies here. He can take his time eating it. Reggie is a fairly average eater. He goes at a pretty healthy speed, but if he wants to take his time, if he wants to eat one bit by bit, that's completely fine. But what we don't accept is him leaving for 20 minutes and then coming back and grazing a bit and leaving, okay? So if he does do that, pick that food bowl back up. Reggie has been getting 3/4 of a cup for each meal. Okay, Reggie, what if we get a toy out? So I'll try to keep the toy and Reggie within camera as I throw this toy around. Yeah, you're going to take it into the crate. Okay, so most of the time when I am working on drop-its with Reggie, I'm just incorporating myself into his play. He's going to play with his toy, he's going to hang out, and every so often I will ask for a drop-it. I will ask for the drop-it once. I will give him a second or two to process and then comply. Sometimes it takes a second to process what's saying and then spit the toy out. If the time has come and gone, however, and it's obvious that he is ignoring me, I'm going to give him a vocal prompt of no, and that's simply, that is incorrect, let's try again. So if he hears my no and he spits the toy out, no harm, no foul, he fixed it, what a good boy, okay, and I'm going to throw the toy again for him. However, if he ignores my drop it, and he ignores my vocal prompt of no, then I'm going to physically take it away from him. So most of the time, I can just pick that toy up as I correct him. However, if he turns it into a tug of war kind of situation, that's not really a correction. That is just Reggie playing with me, and he's not really understanding the consequence of what I was trying to tell him. So if it becomes a tug of war situation, then I will simply just curl his teeth or curl his lips around his teeth and have a little eject button. Another method of doing that is pressing your thumb against his back molar. So I'm going to get a little bit closer to the camera here, and I can even show you on Reggie in a second. So I will have my hand up like this, and I will curl his lips into his teeth. Once again, it's not to cause him harm. It is simply to have him let go of the object that he was holding on to. Okay? Reggie, sweetie, I need you to come over here. Okay. Reggie, drop it. Oh, what a good boy, what a good boy. Okay, so since it's a toy, we don't want to mix treats and toys, so I don't have any treats out. Instead, his reward is getting the toy back. I'm making it more fun for him. However, if I had something very high value, like a bully stick or a marrowbone, or we were on a walk and he brings me trash, what happens, it actually happens quite a lot. Reggie loves to bring me things. Whenever that happens, I still ask for that drop it in that exact same tone, except when it's something edible, something that high value, I will give him a treat in return. It is not as a bribe, it is as a reward. So as he lets go of that really gross thing that he brought to me on his walk that he's really proud of, I'll say, good boy, and then I'll take away that really gross thing. If it's a bully stick, a marrowbone, something he can have back, I may give him a little treat and then give him that high value thing back. I need you to hold on to it. Good. There's no holding on to it. Come here. Come here. Okay. No, not me. No, I do love you, but I need you to show off your drop-its. Okay? Okay, let's try. Go get it. Go get it. Not me. Okay, good boy. Let me try with a bully stick. How about this? No, this? Yeah. Okay, there you go. Let's try that. Give him a second, really chew on it, start munching. Reggie, drop it. So right now he's choosing to ignore me, so I'm gonna say no. Good. Hey, Good. So that one, he was being a sneaky little pickle there, where I had to give him a second vocal prompt as I was reaching down to correct him. Okay. So now I'm going to try a little bit closer to him. Reggie, drop it. No. No. Come here. So now I want him to check in with me, since he wanted to ignore me with such a high value item. So I'm going to have him. Good. Okay. And this time, since he ignored me a couple of times, I'm going to hold on to it. Drop it. Good. There you go. Just so I can get a quicker, I can give him feedback a little bit quicker. Drop it. Good boy. Okay. Good. Good boy. Hey, we're going to try that again. Reggie, drop it. Good. Good boy. Did you need just a couple reminders? Good. Good boy. A couple warm-ups? Okay, go get it. Hey, so what happened there, he did not want to let go. So even my corrections were still not too firm. I didn't have to, have a mean tone. It was just a simple no, and I took it away. Because he showed the pattern of not wanting to listen, then I took away his independent holding privileges so I can give him quicker feedback. And you notice a couple reps of that, he understood a lot quicker and he was responding a lot better. Reggie, drop it. Good. There you go. No. Good. You can't have it back till I say okay, young man. Hey. Reggie. Good. Good boy. Okay. I'm going to give this to you in a second. All right. We have to talk about mouthing. Hey. So Reggie is not allowed to mouth on anything that is not specifically his. So I'm going to correct and redirect him if he mouths on anything that's mine. So my skin, my clothes, my hair, my pant leg. Reggie is not going to know the difference between your old shoe you don't care about and you say, oh, maybe he can chew on it, and your brand new, super shiny, super fluffy, super nice shoe. Okay, so anything that is not specifically for Reggie, he is not allowed to mouth on. If he mouths on something, if he's chewing on something he's not supposed to, I'm going to pick you up, sweetie. So if he found one of your socks, if he's chewing on a table leg, just something that he's not supposed to have, you're going to say no or drop it. Really, whatever comes out of your mouth first is just fine. And when he lets go, we're going to say, what a good boy, and redirect him into an appropriate behavior. So we really want to match that texture. For instance, if you found him chewing on a table leg, you are going to say no, and then you're going to give him something hard, like a bully stick. If you found him chewing on one of your socks, then you're going to say drop it, oh, what a good boy, and give him something soft. If he is mouthing on you, we are going to tell him no, and we're going to hold his mouth. So I'm going to get fairly close here. Hopefully it doesn't jostle the microphone. Hey, buddy. Okay, hi. So if he mouths on me, so if I'm petting him and he wants to go, the fun immediately stops. The tone changes. We go from, hi, I love you, I'm having such a good time, let me pet you, to no. So Reggie hasn't done anything wrong, so I'm going to do that full tone correction when I put him down so he knows that he's not in trouble, but I will hold his mouth. So it's a no. Good. Good boy. Okay? Okay, let me give you that stick. Reggie. Here you go, sweetie. He's gonna take it to the bed. Okay, so if he started mouthing on me, my tone goes from I love you so much to no. It has to be firm enough that once again, he understands that is a correction. However, not too firm that he shuts down. Okay, so I will correct him. I like to take my hands back just so we can reset the situation, see that he truly understands and he's back in control. I will go back to petting him. However, if he mouths on me again, I will do that correction a little bit more firmer this time, a little bit harsher of a no, and then I will walk away from him, even if that is 10 seconds. If he's gonna mouth on me, he does not get to hang out with me. When I return, 10, 20, 30 seconds later, I want to redirect him into an appropriate behavior. He still has a lot of teeth left to lose, so he's going to need to mouth on something. So we really need him to chew and mouth on things that are appropriate. My clothes and my hair is not appropriate. So redirect it into something that he is allowed to chew on. Okay? The second he mouths on you, you need to correct him, tell him no, and make sure he's mouthing on something appropriate. Hey. Reggie, did we get all of the manners? I think we did. Yeah? Okay. Yes. Those are all of our manners. The second that you get Reggie home with you, he is a very well-mannered boy. Okay? I want you to immediately reinforce and set those boundaries with the manners. He's going to be a very well-mannered gentleman. If he is not, please tell him so and help him succeed. Help redirect him into that appropriate behavior. Okay? All right, now we're gonna talk about commands. Let's dive into Reggie's commands. So Reggie is up to standard on all of our commands. He is awesome at commands. It is a great way to build your relationship with him, and we suggest that you continue doing these commands, adding new ones, strengthening the old ones for the rest of his life. However, he is going to break. No matter how good he is at them, he's not perfect. He's going to make mistakes, and that's okay. So our rule of thumb with these commands is if he breaks 3 times in a row, it's too hard. Even if he did it wonderfully the day before, even if he did it really well with you, and then he switches to a new handler, a different member of the family, and he breaks with them, it is too hard. So what we do on that third break, we say, you know what? Let's take it back a step, and we find a good success. For example, if I'm working on downstays and he keeps breaking, I'll say, you know what? Let's just do a simple down. And I'll help him out with my body language as much as I can. And when he goes into the down, I'll tell him, okay, and he's the smartest boy in the world. And we can end on that success, or I can slowly build him up to where he was before. I don't want him to get frustrated. I don't want to get frustrated. And we always want to end on a success. Okay? So all these commands, just remember, help him out, change your body language, remember that rule of 3. Okay. Reggie, place. Okay, so obviously we're starting with the place command. Good. So anything with a defined boundary can be used as place. We really like these beds because they're elevated and the parameters are very well defined. However, you can use anything with clear boundaries as a place. Blankets, rugs, your own dog bed, a fluffy dog bed. We can use tree stumps, rocks, shelves. I've used feed bags to use as place. Okay, wherever you want him to go, just be very close to that object. Have very clear body language. You're going to say place and point. Once all 4 paws are on, you'll say good and give him a treat. He will continue to get treats as he continues to stay on. Right now, Reggie can do a 2-minute place command with about 3 or 4 treats during that time. However, my reinforcement rate may differ depending on the amount of distractions. So if it's just me and him and he's being very calm, very settled, I may not give him as many treats as if Maybe we had all 4 of Brad's kids in here. They're running around. Maybe some of them on rollerblades. Maybe some of my friends came in and it's complete chaos. Maybe we have people running in and out, bringing in groceries. I am going to manage that behavior by getting a little bit closer to that place command and rewarding him, good, for staying on. And I'm close enough that I can redirect him if it's too much for him to handle and he breaks. Okay? So right now, are we chewing on the leash, sir? No. Good. That's not allowed. Good boy. Okay, good boy. When he comes off, I'll say, okay, he does not get a treat for coming off. The reward is the release. I want Reggie thinking, I won't get treats for breaking, I'm gonna get treats for staying on the place. He's a good boy. Okay, crate operates very similarly to place. I'll say crate, tap on top. Once all 4 paws go in, I'm going to say good, give him a treat. And when he's allowed to come on out, okay, and no treat. Good boy. So Reggie is going past the standard of this command, and we've been working on crate, just pointing and not tapping. Good boy. Let me drop some treats here, see if he breaks. Okay, good. So he did get treats for that one, but I used it as a distraction, not as the end release reward. Reggie, crate? No. So I may issue that too early. Maybe he didn't hear me, or maybe he heard me and he was determined to get those crumbs on the ground. So you notice all I did to get his attention was say, no, that was not correct, and he saw my body language and fixed his mistake. Okay, good boy. So Reggie is fantastic with the crate command. However, he may be a little bit more hesitant when you bring him home to go into his new crate in the very new environment. So we're going to help him out. I will happily change my body language and bring my hand into the crate. Good boy. Good. If he is hesitating, I may bring out a treat lure. Okay. But what I really don't want to do, good, is throw treats into the crate. I don't want to set Reggie up in his new environment thinking that bribery is okay. I reward, I do not bribe. Good boy. Good boy. If you ever tell Reggie crate and he looks at you and goes, no thank you, and walks away, I'm going to say, no, I'm going to go get him, and we try that crate. I'm going to use a little pressure, maybe under his collar or on the leash, just enough that he cannot back up. So let me show you. Good boy. And because I want to end on a success, I would want to work on that until he's no longer, okay, rejecting my command. So I said okay on that, and he said, no, I'm not too sure. So I'll change my body language. Good boy, and got him out with the leash. Good job, sweetie. All right, so now we're gonna do sit down and stay. So those have their own hand gestures. So sit, it's a little scoop. Sit. Down is off, let me back up. Down, so it's a little off to the side. Flat, and stay is out like a stop sign. So sit, down, stay. Okay, so Reggie is doing a 20-second sit, stay, 20-second down, stay. Oh, you can't see him. He's right here. Reggie, here. Good boy. Sit. Good, you did that on just vocal. What a good boy. He is on a 20-second sit, stay, 20-second down, stay. If he's in a sit stay and he settles into a down, that's fine. I'm not going to correct that. He's just getting more settled into the command. However, if he's in a down stay and he pops up, I'm going to tell him no and reset him. Okay. Reggie. Sit. Good. Down. So now he's looking at me going, I've never seen this command before, but I'm just going to give him time to process. Okay, good boy, good boy. That was a beautiful slow slump. Let's try that again. Down. Okay, good boy. Good job. So he figured it out. I gave him some problem solving time. He had time to ponder and think about what I wanted him to do and if he wanted to do it. But he did it. However, if he continued to look at me after a couple more seconds, I would have changed my body language to help him out. If he looked like he was hesitating to do it, I may have done a little and shown him that gesture again. If he didn't quite understand what I wanted from him, I may bend at the waist a little bit. So I'm going to get a little closer to the camera. So if I said, Reggie, down from here, and he didn't understand, I would bend at the waist and show him this. And if he didn't understand this, I'm going to slowly all the way down. What I don't want is to go from the standard of down to immediately helping him out. So what I'm not going to do is go down. I want to give him time at each step. I want to give him time to process and think about it from here before I start adding my different gestures. Okay, Reginald, are you done? Come here. Come here, sweetie. Okay, where should we put you to show off your stay? Can you see? You can see him, right? I'll come over here. Okay, Reggie, sit, down. Stay. We are pausing. We are lagging in our downs today. Okay, so once I issue that stay, I don't need to have my hand out like this. It is just a stay. Let me see if I can drop more treats. If he notices, he's really busy licking the crumbs out of the cracks of our floor. Thank you for your service. Okay, did you see the treats? There you go. My goodness. Okay, so that is our sit, down, and stay. Reggie, should we do some leave-its? Get you some high values. Okay, so right now, hi, I'm over here. I am getting my high values. So Reggie, oh, we're at attention? Yeah. Are you getting tired of the normal treats and you want some? Maybe some hot dogs? Yeah, there's the good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I have my high values of ham, cheese, and hot dog slices that I like to use when we train with Leave It. I'll also use these high values whenever Reggie's not feeling particularly motivated, or if it's a particularly hard training session. Okay, so in my hand I have a container of our Pet Botanic training treats. You see these? You see them? Leave it. So when I tell Reggie to leave it, whatever I'm referring to, that thing is forever off limits. I am only going to use leave it with things that I can take away from Reggie or we can go away from. For instance, if I drop anything on the ground I don't want him to get, that's a good way to use leave it. If we're on a walk and he sees something that you don't want him getting, utilize the leave it command. I do not use leave it for permanent objects in the house. That is a no and a management situation. I don't want Reggie thinking, oh, I will attack that leave it potted plant as soon as my owner leaves the room. Good. So I will continue to reward him as he continues to leave it alone using our good marker. Good. Good. Should we make that harder? Okay, let's leave it. Good. So a lot of the time when I'm working on this, I will put a lot more treats on the ground. Your dog is awesome. We're doing really well at the leave it command. I really want to make it a challenge and continue to strengthen those commands. However, I don't want to waste camera time picking up about 57 treats right now. So we're gonna be okay with those 8 or 9 treats I have good on the ground. When we walk away from that leave it, or I can take away everything, then I am going to say, okay, good boy, and be really exuberant with my praise. There's your good boy. There's a very good boy. Good job. Okay, those are all of Reggie's commands. Okay, we are going to talk about Reggie's leash work. If you can't tell, we're starting with the heel. So the heel is for you. The long lead is for Reggie, which we'll get to in a second. So the heel, good, in a good heel, he is right by my side. He has a very loose leash and he's matching my pace. Whenever I stop, I expect Reggie to sit. These are all aspects of a good heel. So let's check in, let's see that sit. I may put a little pressure, just very slight, good, on the leash, just to let him know that we're slowing down. I will also use that leash pressure whenever I change direction to help him out. Reggie, heel. Good. Good boy. So you notice I'm using my 4-foot leash, but he only has about a foot of space. So I am not too particular if he's a little in front or a little behind. I just want him in this area next to my left side. Good boy. Should we go the other way? Good. Good. Oh, we don't know how to walk this way. Yeah. There we go. Good job. Reggie. Good. Good boy. Yep. Good. Good boy. Good boy. All right. So that's Reggie's heel. Okay. Let's talk about that in a little bit more detail. Reggie is taking a little bully stick break while I finish talking about his heel. So feedback is the most important aspect to a good heel. Reggie needs to hear from you when he's doing good, and he needs to be corrected and redirected when he is walking incorrectly. So let's talk about the reward. So when I first started working on Reggie's heel, I rewarded him fairly often. My body language is also very different from what you saw. So in the video, I walked like a normal human being, but I was still giving him feedback. I had a very loose arm and I was standing upright. When I first started heeling with Reggie, I was luring him along. So I had my treat and I would lure him like this, lure him right where I wanted, and almost gave him constant feedback of, yes, good boy, good job, you're doing really good. You do not have to squat and walk and have a treat lure that entire time. We're a little bit past that. However, the reason I bring that up is that when you start walking with him, he's going to be with a new person in a new environment, and that can be fairly overwhelming for a little puppy. So we want to help him out. So when you first start walking with him, make sure you start in a very quiet place. It's just you and Reggie, and you can focus on each other. Okay? You may need to help him out and have more exaggerated of a lure, maybe a bit more feedback, and as he settles in, as he starts to trust you, as he gets used to the environment, as you get the hang of a heel, you can lessen that, stand up a little better, and walk like a normal human being. But I'm also not going to be afraid to help him out if he needs it. If that means that I need to walk like this for the first 2 minutes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get Reggie's attention on me. Okay? So right now, Reggie has a fantastic heel for me, and I'm rewarding him about every 20-30 seconds or so. Okay, so you can easily achieve that. Just transition very slowly, and then you can go far past. You can give him a treat maybe at the very end of a heel. We just don't want to take that away too soon. I always like having my treat pouch on me whenever I go outside with Reggie, especially in this puppy stage. I never know when I need to work on the heel, whether he's going to be distracted and I need to bring more treats out. Maybe I need to do engagement. Maybe I want to work on the recall. Don't take away those treats too soon. Okay? All right, so that is the rewarding aspect. That is the positive feedback of a heel. You also need to correct him when he is not heeling correctly. You need both to have a good heel. You need that reward and you need that correction. So there's many different levels of correcting Reggie during a heel. Let's go over them. So if Reggie's a little bit distracted, if he's kind of looking around, maybe he's unsure, maybe he sees something he wants to sniff but hasn't started pulling yet, you're going to just go, hey, Reggie, just kind of get his attention back. Maybe a little tap on the nose, maybe a little, hey, really any noise, just to bring that attention back. And as soon as he looks back at you, mark that behavior with a good boy, you got your attention back. Okay, if he pulls, then we're going to pop his leash twice, and we're going to say, no, pop. I am going to pop up. So I am just telling him, hey, that's not right, listen to me. It is not to cause him harm, it's just a, hey, focus, okay? So I will say, no, pop, with the leash. As soon as he looks at me, I'll verbally mark that with a good boy. But I may wait on that treat reward until he's walking nicely for me again. What I don't want is a no, pop, good, and then he immediately starts pulling again. For me, I want him to prove that he's walking well. So I'll say no, pop, good. All right, there's your treat. Okay, I will do the leash pop 2 times in a row. If he pulls a 3rd time, he doesn't care about my correction, so I need to do something else. So one of the reasons that I put Reggie in his crate right now is that I didn't want to correct him when he's doing nothing wrong. So the no, pop. If he continues to pull, then I'm going to completely stop walking. Okay, if he wants to pull somewhere and he's not going to listen to me, I'm not going to walk. I'm going to stay right here until he's seated, until he's looking at me. When I stop walking, waiting for Reggie to get his attention back to me, I may also add a little pivot. So I could block him from whatever he is trying to get towards. So I may stop like this. Get his attention, say good boy, welcome back, I'm still here. When I have his attention, then we'll continue walking. If he has the audacity to pull after that, if he's still not listening to you, then all bets are off, and now I'm going to start zigzagging. I'm going to start serpentining, okay? So we're ready for my serpentine skills. So if he wants to pull, I'm going to say nope, and I'll walk like this. Reggie's looking at me, buddy. So I don't want him to be able to guess where I'm going because I don't want him to pull. If he wants to pull to get somewhere over there, I'm going to walk over here until he gets his act together and he's going to focus on me. I will also walk very speedily. I will step into him, and it's a very fast. Truth be told, I have never had to do the zigzags with Reggie. He is a very great puppy with his heel. He has great heeling skills. I've had to stop a couple of times, but I've never had to do the full zigzag. Now, that doesn't mean that he's never going to have to do that. You're going to do whatever it takes to get control of your puppy, okay? So just to reiterate, you need to reward him and you need to correct him, okay, in order to have a good heel. He is on my left side. My arm is nice and relaxed. We don't need to hold like this, and we're giving him feedback. We're telling him what a very good boy. We're going to use this heel in short bursts. This is not the way to walk Reggie around your neighborhood. This is not the way to de-zoomify a puppy. Instead, we use the heel to say, you know what, let's heel while we're in this crowded area. Let's heel past this distraction. Let's practice this heel for 5 to 10 minutes of our long lead walk, and then you can go back to going on the long lead. So I'm going to get Reggie out and do a couple more laps with the heel just to put that all together for you.
Lord Reginald,
You've got to come out. Okay. Oh, what a good boy. What a good boy. Hey, Reggie. Good boy. Heel. Good boy. Good job. Good job, sweetie. All right, I mentioned the long lead. I've got the long lead on Reggie now. This is one of our shorter long leads. My personal one's about 30 feet long. I think the one Reggie has on is about 12 to 15 feet. So this is the way that I like walking dogs. He has all of this space. If he wants to stop and sniff every single rock, every single flower, I'm gonna let him because it's his time. Okay, it's his time to explore. It's his time to dezoomify and sniff and really be a dog. So I don't care if he's in front of me, behind me, if he wants to make 20 stops, it's his time. Okay, it's less about how far you go and more about what you're doing on that walk. So this way he has all of this freedom, but I can still manage his behavior. So if he wanted to wander maybe into the road or into a neighbor's yard that does not like puppies in their yard, I can call him back. I can work on our recall. I can bring this up, reel him in, and work on our heel. Okay? This is the way to best practice Reggie's recall. So Reggie's recall is, Reggie, come. Good boy. Okay. You're getting tired. He's a tired boy. So his recall is, Reggie, little space, come. As soon as he starts coming to you, you're going to mark that with a good boy. Reggie loves words of affirmation. It's one of his biggest love languages. Yes, he loves being told that he's the bestest, cutest, what a good boy. The higher pitched, the better. I'll try not to assault the camera's microphone with my high-pitched noises, but he loves those words. When he comes all the way to you, you're going to say, okay, and then he can go on his merry way. Okay, so we're going to try that one more time. Reggie, come. Oh, good boy. Okay. Gosh, good boy. He's so good. Hey, if he didn't come to you, if you said, Reggie, come, and he's like, 1 minute, I'm sniffing something, or if he looks at you and then completely rejects you, you're going to say no. And as you're saying no, you're going to give a little tug on the leash and you're going to reel him in like a fish. Okay? So I'm going to pretend that he failed to recall. He's looking for his bully stick. Where is it? No. Just a very slight tug. Good boy. A little pressure. Okay? He's very responsive to that. We've taught him to listen to that pressure because we're just trying to communicate with him. So I'm still going to reward him for a failed recall on the long lead because I had him fix it. Okay? He did the incorrect behavior. I marked that incorrect behavior and helped him succeed. I rewarded him for that successful correct behavior. Okay? So once again, here I need you, sweetie, I need you to go maybe over there. Do you want to go follow that tree? Okay? It's not a trick. You can have it. Good. So just a little, oh, you even knew what I was doing. Good job. Good job. All right, just a little tug. If he wants to dig his heels in, I'm not going to drag him across the ground. Once again, I don't want to cause him harm, but I will do the no, tug, 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 until he caves in. Okay, so this is the long lead. This is going to be your very best friend. This is going to be a great tool for walks and for dezoomifying Lord Reginald. Reggie. Oh, good boy. Good boy. All right, I'm going to give Reggie his bully stick, give him another little break, and then we'll talk about his off-leash recall. Okay? Reggie has an awesome off-leash recall, and we want to make sure that that awesomeness transfers over to his new home. So just like on the long lead, his recall is, Reggie, come. And the second he starts coming to you off leash, you're going to mark that with a good boy, good boy. a lot of the time I will squat down. I'll be really exuberant with my praise and really loud with my gestures and my body language to let him know he is doing the right thing. I will reward check-ins. If Reggie, even on the long lead and off the long lead, if he comes and checks in with you, and by that I mean he comes up to you and looks at you, I'm gonna say, hello Reggie, I love you so much. Thank you for checking in. Here is your treat. Okay? I'm gonna reward the check-ins. And we're gonna continue to work on a recall off leash. So what are we gonna do if Reggie does not listen while he is off leash? So if you said, Reggie, come, and he did not listen, instead of repeating yourself, you are going to say no and go get him. Okay? One person will call Reggie one time. If Reggie does not comply, that person will go and get him. You can't have someone who calls Reggie all the time and never goes and gets him. You can't have a caller and enforcer. If you do not want to go get Reggie, do not call him. Okay? So I'm backing up so I can demonstrate my walk. So if I said, Reggie, come, and he did not listen, instead of saying, no, come, I'm going to say, no, and I'm going to start walking. Okay? I'm not going to run towards him, but I am going to have a little bit quicker of a stride to say, nope, that's incorrect, and I'm coming to help you out. If at any point during my walking, he sees me and starts coming to me, he fixed his mistake, fantastic. I'm going to stop walking and change my tune from I'm coming to get you to yes, good boy, I love you so much, good, you came to me, okay. I'm never going to punish Reggie for coming to me. He fixed his mistake. Even if I had to walk 5 feet or 500 feet, if he came to me those last little bit, I'm going to say, what a good boy. I'll put him on the long lead and say, let's work on your recall, but I'm not going to punish him. If I have to go 100% of the way to Reggie on a failed recall, I'm still going to get a success in there. Hopefully I have my leash on me and I can leash him up and use that slight pressure to work on it. If not, I may hook my fingers under his collar, or I may just clap and I'm going to walk backwards. Whether that is with the leash and I'm using some pressure or just encouraging him to come to me, I'm going to say, no, come, get that right behavior, get Reggie coming to me, good, okay. And then I can put him on the long lead. I can end on that success. I'm going to call it a day. All right, so just to go over the recall, because this is one of the easiest things to let slide and to fade. So when you call Reggie, one person will call him one time. If he does not listen, you say no and you go and get him. Okay? When he does come to you, as soon as he starts coming to you, tell him, good boy. When he comes, okay. Okay? He gets one chance and you are prepared to follow through. Okay. Engagement. We're going to talk about engagement now. So engagement is getting Reggie's attention away from whatever is triggering him, whether he is afraid or he wants to boof, or maybe he's really excited. Whatever emotion that caused him to not focus on me, engagement is getting that focus back. Okay? Every dog is reactive. The levels and the triggers just all depend. Every dog's going to get so excited about a stimulus that they're not going to want to pay attention to. They're going to get distracted. They're going to be a little hesitant about something. Whatever that emotion is, we're going to help them out. You are going to be more likely to engage with Reggie over the next couple days, maybe week or so when you get him. When dogs are stressed and in a new environment, they're going to react more than they normally would. So the majority of Reggie's engagement that we do with him is caused by him being unsure of a new stimuli or a new environment. So for example, whenever we introduce something new to Reggie, we often have to engage with him to let him know, hey, it's okay, and build that confidence back up. Okay, so our levels of engagement and the way that we handle that is relatively the same, whether he is reacting in fear, excitement, or uncertainty. So the second that Reggie starts to get excited or start boofing, like the brr, or start backing up, I'm going to say, hey, Reggie. And once again, I may block and get his attention back. So if he is barking or unsure of something over there, I'm going to put my back. So this is telling Reggie, I'm not afraid of this. neither should you be. Okay? I'm also blocking his view so he can't see it and he can more easily focus on me. Okay? And this is where my levels may differentiate just a little bit. If he is unsure, and Reggie is our sensitive soul, we have to build confidence with him up a lot and tell him it's okay. Reggie needs a lot of reassurance, a lot of words of affirmation, a lot of confidence building. So at this point, if he is unsure of something, I don't want to tell him, yes, you should be unsure of something, but I also don't want to throw him in the deep end. I want to build that confidence. So if he's afraid of maybe going up on our playground equipment, I may lure him, I may sit with him, I may say, oh, it's okay, and we can work out this problem together. I may pick him up very gently and walk over with him to that new place and help him settle down. What I don't want to do is say, you know what, Reggie, that's okay. We never have to deal with that scary thing ever again. We want to face our fears. We don't want to coddle. We want to build confidence. So if he's unsure of something, I'm going to help him. I'm going to slowly bring him over there. I'm going to reward him for focusing on me, for being brave, even if it takes like a little step. Even if you bring him in your arms and you see him start to relax, we're going to reward that behavior. Okay? All right. So if Reggie is barking at something, or if he's real excited and he doesn't want to listen and he wants to pull towards something, at that point I'm going to walk away. Excuse me, sorry. We're going to walk away. Whether that is 10 feet away or to the other side of the road, or maybe just away like 5 feet. We want to get distance so he can get his attention back to me. When I feel like I've gotten enough distance where I feel like I can get his attention, I'm going to stop, once again blocking that distraction, and I can say, Reggie, or watch me. So watch me means make eye contact with me. I do not need deep, direct eye contact. I don't need him staring into my soul that whole time, but I do love a little check-in. Every time Reggie checks in with me, whether or not I asked or prompted that, I'm going to reward him, especially during a time of engagement where we're uncertain. Every time he looks, okay, good boy. If I need to crouch down, fully enveloping him, I will. Okay? I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my dog's attention away from whatever is triggering them and onto me. And as he settles in, as he's focusing on me, I may unblock his view. And then we start, one of my favorite games is the art of doing nothing, where Reggie can just observe the world around him without interacting. And as long as he does that, as long as he sits by me and he's looking, but he's not pulling, he's not barking, he's not cowering, I'll reward that all day long. Okay? So I'm going to have Brad come out and help me with engagement, kind of put that all together and show you what I am talking. Watch me. Good boy. Watch me. Good. Good boy. Hey. Watch me. Oh, good. Good. Hey, buddy. Good job. Good. So you notice that Reggie is obviously very interested in Brad, but he's not pulling and he's checking in with me, so I'm just going to let him observe and reward him for being a very good boy. I hope you can see that head tilt. Good, and he checked in with me. If at any point he stopped listening, stopped checking in, I would block. Good, or maybe get more distance away. Good. Good boy. Watch me. Okay, good job. And that is engagement. Okay, that is Reggie's demo. You're going to love him. We have loved having him here. He is such a good boy. He is so sweet and so playful and our sensitive little soul. Hey. Thank you for watching.